They thought one slap in front of 200 people would make me fall in line. They didn't know that was the moment they lost me forever. If you've ever been treated like property by your own family, this story is for you. Subscribe to follow my journey of taking back control of my life. I promise by the end of this video, you'll see justice served. My name is Sophia Martinez, and I'm 32 years old. I work as a senior financial analyst at a major investment firm in downtown Chicago. 2 years ago, I bought a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. It's 800 square feet of pure sanctuary, hardwood floors, a chef's kitchen, a walk-in closet bigger than my first apartment. I saved for 15 years to afford it. 15 years of 60-hour work weeks, skipped vacations, and ramen dinners. My family has never visited, not once. My brother Nathan is 5 years younger than me. He's 30 now. With sandy blonde hair, he spends way too much time styling and a smile that's always gotten him everything he wanted. Growing up, Nathan was the golden child, not because he was smarter or kinder or more talented. He just had this way of making people feel good about giving him things. My father, Richard Martinez, is 63. He retired last year from his engineering job, the kind of man who believes respect is earned through obedience. He's 6'2" with broad shoulders and a voice that fills every room he enters. When he speaks, people listen. When he's angry, people disappear. My mother, Patricia, is 60. She spent her life as a homemaker, which meant her entire identity wrapped around being Nathan's mother. She has this thing where she calls Nathan my baby boy, even though he's a grown man with a mortgage, rent, and a wife. I was 16 when my grandmother died. She lived with us for 3 years before that, battling Alzheimer's. Mom couldn't handle it alone, so I became the second adult in the house. I changed bed sheets when Grandma had accidents. I made sure she took her medications. I held her hand when she cried because she couldn't remember my name. Nathan was 11. He played video games. Nobody asked me if I wanted that responsibility. It was just expected. Sophia, you're older. Sophia, you're so responsible. Sophia, we need you. When I turned 18, I had exactly $347 in my bank account. Nathan was 13, and Dad sat me down at the kitchen table with papers spread out in front of him. Nathan's going to need a college fund, he said. We can't afford to save for both of you right now. You understand? I didn't understand, but I nodded. I worked 2 jobs through community college. During the day, I was a bank teller, smiling at customers while my feet ached in cheap heels. At night, I bartended at a sports bar near campus, memorizing drink orders and dodging handsy customers until 2 a.m. I studied between shifts, textbooks propped against the bar counter during slow hours. Nathan went to a 4-year university downstate, full ride from Mom and Dad. He joined a fraternity. He went to Cancun for spring break 3 years in a row. I never said anything. I told myself it was fine. I told myself that's what older siblings do. They sacrifice. When I was 25, Mom called me crying. They were behind on the mortgage, 3 months behind. The bank sent warning letters. We could lose the house, Sophia, your childhood home. I had just gotten promoted to junior analyst. My salary jumped to $52,000 a year, more money than I'd ever seen. I had plans. I wanted to travel, maybe take a real vacation for the first time in my life. Instead, I gave them $18,000. Almost all of my savings. Nathan was 20 then, living at home, rent-free, working part-time at a gym. He spent his paychecks on clothes and going out. Nobody asked him to help with the mortgage. 2 years ago, everything changed. I got promoted to senior financial analyst. My salary more than doubled. I had been living in a studio apartment in a sketchy neighborhood for 8 years, and I decided it was time. Time to invest in myself. Time to have something that was mine. I found the penthouse on a Thursday. The realtor unlocked the door, and I walked into that living room with its massive windows, sunlight pouring across the empty space. And I actually cried. I put down an offer that afternoon. When I told my parents I bought a place, Mom said, "That's nice, dear." Dad said, "Don't forget where you came from." Neither of them asked to see it. Nathan, on the other hand, showed up unannounced 3 months after I moved in. He had a new girlfriend with him, Callie Thompson. She was 28, with honey blonde hair styled in perfect beach waves and an outfit that probably cost more than my monthly utilities. She worked as a fashion blogger and influencer, which seemed to mean she took photos of herself in expensive clothes and called it a career. They walked through my penthouse like they were touring a museum. Callie touched everything with her manicured nails, the marble countertops, the velvet throw pillows, the original artwork I'd saved up to buy. "Cute space," she said, glancing at Nathan. "For one person." There was something in the way she said it, like my life was somehow incomplete because I lived alone, like success only counted if you were sharing it with someone. Nathan just smiled. "Yeah, Sophia's always been independent." Independent. That's the word people use when they mean alone, but want to sound complimentary. 6 months before the wedding, things started shifting. Nathan stopped calling as often. When I texted to grab dinner, he'd take days to respond. "Busy with wedding planning," he'd say. "You know how it is." I didn't know how it was. I'd never planned a wedding. I'd never even had a serious relationship. Between work and taking care of everyone else, there'd never been time. 3 months before the wedding, I didn't get invited to the bachelor party weekend. I found out through Mom. "Oh, it's just his fraternity brothers," she explained. "Very small, you understand." I understood that Nathan's fraternity had 47 members, and somehow none of them were me. 1 month before the wedding, Nathan called. I was at work reviewing quarterly reports when my phone buzzed. "Hey, Soph." His voice had that careful tone people use when they're about to ask for something. "Can we talk?" "Sure, what's up?" Silence. Then, "So, she's been having some concerns." "Concerns about what?" "About you being too involved in the wedding." I almost laughed. I hadn't been involved at all. "Nathan, I haven't even been to a dress fitting." I know, it's just, Callie feels like maybe you could keep some distance. At the wedding, she wants it to be her day, you know?" My hand tightened around the phone. "What does that mean, keep distance?" "Just, maybe don't make it about you. Don't draw attention." Don't draw attention. Don't exist too loudly. Don't remind people that Nathan had a sister who raised him. "Got it," I said. "Anything else?" "Sophia, don't be like that." "I'm not being like anything. I'll see you at the wedding." I hung up before he could respond. The wedding invitation arrived 2 weeks late. I know it was late because my aunt called to ask if I was going, and I hadn't even received mine yet. When it finally showed up, it was different from everyone else's. No +1, no names on the seating chart, just reserved in calligraphy. The night before the wedding, Mom called. "Sophia, honey, what are you wearing tomorrow?" "I bought a burgundy dress. Why?" "Oh," pause. "Callie specifically requested no one wear red tones. She wants to be the only pop of color." "Mom, I already bought the dress." "Couldn't you just wear something else? A nice navy or gray?" I looked at the burgundy dress hanging in my closet. I'd spent $300 on it, more than I usually spent on clothes. I loved it. "Sure, Mom, navy it is." "Thank you, sweetheart. You're so understanding." Understanding. Another word for invisible. The wedding was at the Drake Hotel, a historic building downtown with marble columns and crystal chandeliers. I arrived exactly on time, not early enough to be in anyone's way, not late enough to be rude. The lobby was filled with guests in designer clothes, holding champagne flutes and laughing. I recognized Nathan's fraternity brothers, Callie's sorority sisters, people from their social circles I'd never been introduced to. Nobody greeted me. I found my name at the seating chart eventually. Table 17, the back corner near the service entrance. The table furthest from the head table where Nathan and Callie would sit. I was placed with people I didn't know, a couple from Callie's father's law firm and an elderly woman who appeared to be someone's grandmother. The ceremony was beautiful. Nathan looked handsome in his tuxedo, his eyes bright with tears as Callie walked down the aisle. She was stunning. There's no other word for it. Her dress probably cost more than my first car, all lace and silk and tiny crystals that caught the light. I watched from the back row as they exchanged vows. Nathan promised to love her, honor her, cherish her. He promised to put her first, always. I wondered if he remembered that I put him first for 20 years. The reception started at 7. Cocktail hour in the ballroom's lobby, with past hors d'oeuvres and an open bar. I stood near a column, sipping white wine and watching families take photos together. Nathan's fraternity brothers gathered around him, slapping his back and laughing at inside jokes. Callie posed with her bridesmaids, their matching lavender dresses perfect for Instagram. I wasn't in any of the photos. Sophia. I turned. Mom and Dad were walking toward me, and something about their faces made my stomach drop. This wasn't the warm, "we're so glad you're here" approach. This was purposeful, determined. Dad's hand gripped my elbow. "We need to talk to you. Now." They steered me toward a quiet corner behind a decorative screen, away from the other guests. Mom's face was flushed, whether from champagne or emotion, I couldn't tell. "We've been thinking," Dad started, his voice low. "Nathan and Callie are starting their lives together. They need stability." My pulse quickened. "Okay?" "They're renting that apartment in Wicker Park. It's not appropriate for Callie's lifestyle. Her family has certain expectations." I stared at him. "What does this have to do with me?" Mom jumped in. "Your penthouse, sweetie. You have all that space and you're just one person." "No." The word came out before I could stop it. Dad's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" "No, that's my home. I bought it. I earned it." "You're being selfish," Mom said, her voice rising slightly. "Nathan is your brother. He's starting a family." "With his wife who comes from money. Why can't her parents help them?" Dad's face darkened. "You will not speak about Callie's family that way." "I wasn't—" "You've always been like this," he continued, his voice sharp enough to cut. "Ever since you moved to that penthouse, you've changed. You think you're better than us now." My chest felt tight. "I work 80 hours a week, Dad. I earned every single thing I have." "And who paid for your childhood?" He shot back. "Who fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head? You owe this family." The world around us seemed to blur. Somewhere in the ballroom, a band started playing. Guests laughed and clinked glasses. My entire life was being reduced to a debt I didn't know I owed. "I've given this family everything," I said quietly. "I gave you $18,000 for the mortgage. I worked 2 jobs to put myself through school so you could pay for Nathan's. I raised him when you couldn't handle Grandma." "That's what family does," Mom interrupted. "Family sacrifices for each other." "Then why doesn't Nathan ever sacrifice for me?" Silence. Dad's jaw clenched. "He's your younger brother. It's different." "How? How is it different?" "Because you're capable. You've always been capable. Nathan needs more support." I felt something inside me crack, not break. I'd been breaking for years. This was the final crack, the one that splits the foundation completely. "I'm not giving them my penthouse." Dad took a step closer. We were nearly the same height in my heels. "Yes, you are." "No, I'm not." His hand moved so fast I didn't have time to flinch. The slap echoed across the ballroom, cutting through the music and conversation like a gunshot. 200 people went silent. My cheek burned. My ears rang. Someone gasped. I could feel every single eye in that room turn toward us. Dad's face was red, his chest heaving. Mom had her hand over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. "Richard," she whispered. I touched my cheek. My fingers came away trembling. In 15 years of living on my own, surviving on ramen and sleeping 4 hours a night, working until my eyes burned and my body ached, I had never felt smaller than I did in that moment. But then something shifted. Something cold and clear settled over me like a sheet of ice. I looked at my father, this man who raised me, who taught me to ride a bike and helped with my math homework and told me he was proud of me exactly 3 times in my entire life. And I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who just realized they're free. I leaned in close so only he could hear. "You just lost me." Then I turned and walked toward the exit. My heels clicked against the marble floor. Nobody stopped me. Nobody followed. The silence was so complete I could hear my own heartbeat. I didn't cry in the elevator. I didn't cry in the parking garage. I didn't cry during the 20-minute drive back to my penthouse, watching the city lights blur past my windows. I walked into my apartment, locked the door behind me, and sat on my couch, the same couch where I'd hosted book club last month, the same couch where I'd curled up with takeout and Netflix after brutal work days, the same couch that had never witnessed a family dinner because my family had never once visited. My phone started buzzing. Text after text after text. Nathan. What the hell, Sophia? You made Dad hit you. Mom. You embarrassed this entire family. How could you? Aunt Linda. Your father shouldn't have hit you, but you should apologize for causing a scene. Uncle Tom. This is why you're still single. Cousin Rachel. Always knew you were dramatic. I read every message. I absorbed every word. Every accusation, every guilt trip, every justification for what happened. Not one person asked if I was okay. Not one. I opened my laptop and started typing. To Richard and Patricia Martinez tonight, in front of 200 people, Dad slapped me because I refused to give away my home. This wasn't the moment I realized you don't love me. I've known that for a long time. This was the moment I decided I deserve better. I spent 25 years proving my worth to this family. I'm done. From now on, I will not attend family events. I will not provide financial support to anyone. I will not answer phone calls unless it's a genuine emergency. I will not accept guilt trips or manipulation. I don't hate you. I simply choose myself. Sophia. I scheduled it to send at 2 a.m. when I knew they'd be awake obsessing about what happened. Then I blocked Nathan's number. I called a locksmith's 24-hour service and paid triple rates to have my locks changed immediately, just in case my parents still had the spare key I'd given them years ago for emergencies. The locksmith arrived at midnight. He was a middle-aged man with kind eyes who didn't ask questions when he saw the red mark still visible on my cheek. You good, miss? He asked after installing the new deadbolt. I handed him his payment plus a generous tip. I am now. He nodded like he understood everything. You know the best lock in the world? What? The one that keeps out the people who hurt you. After he left, I stood in my penthouse, my space, my sanctuary, my achievement, and looked out at the city. Chicago glittered below me, millions of lights representing millions of people, all with their own stories, their own pain, their own moments of choosing themselves. For the first time in 25 years, I felt light. I slept for 10 hours straight. No nightmares, no anxiety dreams about disappointing people, just deep, dreamless sleep. When I woke up, my phone was exploding. 57 missed calls, 83 text messages, 12 voicemails. I didn't check any of them. Instead, I made coffee. Real coffee from the expensive beans I usually saved for special occasions. I scrambled eggs with cheese and fresh herbs. I ate breakfast on my balcony, watching Lake Michigan sparkle in the morning sun. My face was still tender, but the mark was fading. By Monday, it would be gone. But the freedom I felt, that was permanent. The Monday after the wedding, I went to work like nothing happened. My colleague Sarah noticed immediately. You look different, she said, tilting her head as we waited for the elevator. Did you get a haircut? No, I said, smiling. I just made a decision to prioritize myself. She studied my face for a moment, then nodded slowly. Good for you. You seem lighter. I was lighter. It's amazing how much weight falls away when you stop carrying other people's expectations. My inbox had 127 unread messages from family members. I archived them all without reading. The group chat named Martinez Family had 483 new messages. I muted it and removed myself from the conversation. At my desk, I focused on quarterly projections and client portfolios. Numbers made sense. Numbers didn't guilt-trip you or demand your home or slap you in public. Numbers were honest. My phone rang around 11. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then another unknown number. Voicemail. Then another. On the fourth call, I answered. Hello? Sophia, thank God. It was Mom, her voice thick with tears. Why won't you answer? Why did you block Nathan? I told you why in my email. That email was cruel. Your father has barely slept. Mom, I'm at work. I can't do this right now. Can't or won't. You're tearing this family apart. Something in my chest hardened. I didn't tear anything apart. Dad did that when he hit me. You did that when you demanded my home. This family tore itself apart a long time ago. I'm just finally noticing. How can you say that, after everything we've done for you? What have you done for me, Mom? Specifically, in the last 10 years, what have you done for me? Silence stretched between us. That's what I thought, I said quietly. I have to go. Please don't call my work number again. I hung up and blocked that number too. By week 2, the family had gotten creative. Aunt Linda showed up at my building. The doorman called up. There's a Linda Martinez here to see you. I'm not available. She says it's urgent. Family emergency. My stomach dropped. What kind of emergency? She didn't specify, miss. Of course she didn't. Tell her I'm not home. That evening, I found a note slipped under my door. Aunt Linda must have tailgated behind another resident. Sophia, your mother is devastated. Your father regrets what happened. Nathan's marriage is suffering because of the tension you've created. Please, for the sake of this family, let's talk. We can work this out. Call me. Aunt Linda. I crumpled the note and threw it away. Then I emailed building management about tightening security. The thing about cutting off toxic family is that people don't understand it. Society conditions us to believe blood is everything, that family is sacred, that forgiveness is mandatory. People who've never experienced real dysfunction look at you like you're the problem. My coworker Brad mentioned his parents were visiting for the weekend. You should come to dinner with us, he said enthusiastically. My mom makes the best lasagna. That sounds nice, but I'm busy. Come on, when's the last time you had a home-cooked meal? I thought about all the dinners I'd cooked for my family growing up. I cook for myself all the time. It's not the same. Family dinner is different. I smiled tightly. Not all families are worth having dinner with. His face fell. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... It's okay. Enjoy your weekend. Week 3 brought a new development. My phone lit up with a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Sophia? A male voice, uncertain. Who is this? It's Marcus, Nathan's best man. We met at the engagement party. I remembered him vaguely. Tall, dark hair, seemed uncomfortable during Nathan's bachelor party stories. How did you get this number? Nathan gave it to me. Look, I know this is weird, but I wanted to reach out. What happened at the wedding? What your dad did? That was wrong. Really wrong. I'm sorry. I sat down on my couch, unexpectedly moved. Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, I've known Nathan since college, and I've heard stories about his family, but seeing it in person? He trailed off. Are you okay? When was the last time someone asked me that? I'm better than okay. I'm free. He was quiet for a moment. Good, that's good. I just wanted you to know that not everyone thought you were in the wrong. How's Nathan? Marcus sighed. Honestly? Stressed. Callie's family has been asking questions. Her dad's a lawyer, right? He pulled Nathan aside at the wedding reception after you left. I couldn't hear everything, but it wasn't a friendly conversation. About me? About the whole situation. Mr. Thompson doesn't like drama. He's very image conscious. I felt a small flicker of satisfaction. And Callie? She's not happy. She keeps asking Nathan when you're going to give them the penthouse. He keeps telling her you're being stubborn, that you'll come around. Marcus paused. Sophia, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but their finances are rough, really rough. That's not my problem. I know. You're right. I just thought you should know. After we hung up, I sat with that information. Nathan and Callie were struggling. Part of me, the part that spent 25 years being the responsible one, the fixer, the solution to everyone's problems, wanted to help. But a stronger part of me, the part that was learning to exist without guilt, knew that helping would only restart the cycle. Month 2 arrived with changing leaves and cooler weather. Chicago autumn was my favorite. The city transformed into golds and reds, and the air smelled like coffee and possibility. I started going to therapy. Dr. Chen was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense approach. Our first session, she asked me to describe my family dynamics. I talked for 45 minutes straight. When I finished, she set down her pen. Sophia, have you heard the term scapegoat? Like a person who gets blamed? In dysfunctional family systems, there's often a scapegoat child and a golden child. The scapegoat is responsible, self-sufficient, blamed when things go wrong. The golden child can do no wrong, receives unconditional support, rarely faces consequences. My throat tightened. Nathan was the golden child, and you were the scapegoat. It's not about what you did or didn't do. These roles are assigned early and reinforced constantly. The family system depends on maintaining them. So even if I'd given them the penthouse, they would have found something else to demand, because your role isn't to be appreciated, it's to sacrifice. The moment you stopped playing that role, the system broke. I cried in her office for the first time in years, not sad tears, relieved ones. Nathan started calling from different numbers. I learned to recognize his voice in the first syllable and hang up. But one evening, he caught me off guard by having Callie call. Sophia? Her voice was tight. It's Callie. Please don't hang up. I should have. But curiosity won. What do you want? I want to understand why you're doing this to Nathan, to us. We're family now. We were family before the wedding, too. That didn't stop you from asking me to keep my distance. That was a misunderstanding. It wasn't. You made it very clear I wasn't good enough for your special day. Her voice hardened. You know what your problem is? You're jealous. You can't stand that Nathan has someone who loves him, that he's building a real life. I have a real life. I have a career, friends, a home I own. What do you have, Callie? Besides a husband who can't afford you? The silence was sharp enough to cut. Nathan said you were bitter, she finally said. He was right. I'm not bitter. I'm just done being the bank that funds his life while he treats me like an embarrassment. He told me to keep my distance from you. He didn't defend me when your family questioned why I wasn't in the wedding party. He stood there while Dad slapped me and said nothing. So no, Callie, I'm not bitter. I'm realistic. She hung up. That night, my phone buzzed with a voicemail from Mom. I almost deleted it, but something made me listen. Sophia, it's been 2 months. Please talk to us. We miss you. Your father misses you. He didn't mean to hit you. He was just so frustrated. You know how he gets. Nathan needs your help with the penthouse situation. Callie's parents are asking questions and it's embarrassing. Please, sweetheart, we're family. Call us back. I listened to it 3 times, analyzing every word. Not once did she say we were wrong. Not once did she say we're sorry. Just excuses, justifications, and another demand disguised as family obligation. I saved the voicemail, then blocked that number too. Marcus texted me occasionally with updates I didn't ask for but secretly appreciated. Nathan and Callie had their first big fight about money. Callie wanted a Mediterranean vacation for their 1-month anniversary. Nathan said they couldn't afford it. She called him cheap and threw her wedding bouquet, preserved in resin for $400, at his head. She misses her parents' lifestyle, Marcus wrote. Nathan thought marrying her would elevate him. Instead, he can't keep up. I didn't respond, but I saved the messages. At work, I got promoted. Director of Financial Planning, 40% salary increase, corner office with 2 windows instead of 1. My boss called me into her office with a bottle of champagne. You've earned this, she said, pouring 2 glasses. Your portfolio performance this quarter was exceptional. Your clients trust you. You're exactly what we need in leadership. I clinked my glass against hers, and for the first time in my professional life, I felt purely proud. No guilt about succeeding, no worry about how it might make someone else feel. That night, I treated myself to dinner at a steakhouse I'd always wanted to try. I sat alone at the bar with a glass of wine and a ribeye, and I didn't feel lonely at all. I felt content. 6 months after the wedding, I changed my phone number entirely. I didn't tell anyone in my family. I updated my contacts with friends and colleagues, my doctors and dentist, my gym and building management. The Martinez family simply ceased to have access to me. It felt like emerging from underwater. I joined a book club through my building. 8 women, all professionals, meeting monthly to discuss novels and drink wine. They became my chosen family. People who showed up, who asked how I was doing and actually listened to the answer, who celebrated my promotion with genuine joy. One evening, Jessica from the book club mentioned she was estranged from her father. He was emotionally abusive my whole childhood, she said matter-of-factly. I cut contact 5 years ago. Best decision I ever made. Don't you feel guilty? I asked. Sometimes. But then I remember that guilt was his weapon. He trained me to feel responsible for his emotions, for his actions, for his happiness. Once I realized that, the guilt became easier to ignore. She looked at me carefully. Why do you ask? I told her everything. The wedding, the slap, the demands, the silence. When I finished, she raised her wine glass. Welcome to the other side. It gets easier. How long until it stops hurting? Wrong question. It always hurts a little. You're grieving the family you deserved, not the one you had. But one day you'll realize you've gone a whole week without thinking about them, then a month. Then you'll be living your life so fully that they're just a footnote in your story. I clinked my glass against hers and believed her. 1 year after the wedding, I was in my office reviewing a client's retirement portfolio when my assistant knocked. Someone's here to see you, says it's personal. My stomach clenched. Who? Patricia Martinez, says she's your mother. I closed my laptop slowly, composing myself. Tell her I'm not available. She's quite insistent. She's been waiting for an hour. Not my problem. Please escort her from the building. My assistant hesitated. Are you sure? She seems upset. I'm sure. After she left, I sat at my desk, hands trembling slightly. Mom had found my workplace. She'd waited for an hour. Part of me wanted to know what she'd say, what excuse she'd manufacture, what guilt trip she'd deploy. But a stronger part of me knew it didn't matter. Nothing she could say would change the fact that she chose Nathan over me, every single time, for 32 years. I took a deep breath and returned to my client's portfolio. Numbers didn't manipulate. Numbers didn't play favorites. Numbers were safe. That evening, I had dinner plans with my book club. We were trying a new Thai restaurant, and I'd been looking forward to it all week. As I walked to the restaurant, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is Patricia. Building security wouldn't let me up. I need to talk to you. Your father is sick. Please call. My heart skipped. Sick? What did that mean? I stopped walking, people streaming around me on the sidewalk. My finger hovered over the call button. Then I remembered, Mom said there was a family emergency when Aunt Linda tried to visit. There wasn't. This was another manipulation tactic. I blocked the number and continued walking to dinner. At the restaurant, I ordered pad thai and spring rolls. I laughed at Jessica's story about her cat destroying her laptop. I recommended a financial advisor to Maria, who was buying her first house. I existed in the present moment, surrounded by people who genuinely cared about me, and I didn't think about my family once. Walking home, I passed by the Drake Hotel where Nathan's wedding had been held. A year ago, I'd walked out of that building broken. Tonight, I walked past it whole. My penthouse was exactly as I'd left it, clean, peaceful, mine. I made chamomile tea and stood on my balcony, watching the city lights reflect off Lake Michigan. I thought about Nathan and Callie, probably fighting in their cramped apartment about money. I thought about Mom and Dad in their house, the same house I'd helped save with $18,000, wondering where they went wrong. They'd never understand that they lost me the moment they decided I was valuable only for what I could provide. I pulled out my phone and opened my photos. I scrolled past pictures from book club, from my promotion dinner, from the solo trip I'd taken to New York last month. Happy moments, genuine smiles, a life built on my own terms. No family photos, no holiday dinners, no guilt, just peace. I slept deeply that night, and when I woke up, I made myself a promise. I would never again sacrifice my well-being for people who saw me as a resource instead of a person. The Martinez family had taught me an invaluable lesson, just not the one they intended. They taught me that blood doesn't make you family. Love does, respect does, showing up does, And they taught me that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away. 1 year and 3 months after the wedding, I was promoted again. VP of Client Relations, 6-figure salary, company car, retirement package that would make my younger self weep with relief. I celebrated with my chosen family, my book club, my colleagues, Marcus, who'd become a genuine friend. We went to a rooftop bar and someone made a toast. To Sophia, who proved that you can build a life worth living without permission from anyone. I raised my glass, looking out at Chicago spread below us, and I thought about a girl who used to believe her worth was measured by how much she could sacrifice. That girl was gone. In her place was a woman who knew her worth was measured by how much she honored herself. If you've found yourself in this story, if you've been the one who gives and gives until there's nothing left, I want you to know something. You don't owe anyone your life. Not your parents, not your siblings, not anyone. Family isn't the people who share your DNA. It's the people who show up when things get hard. It's the people who celebrate your wins without jealousy. It's the people who would never, ever ask you to choose them over yourself. I lost my family that night at Nathan's wedding, but I found myself, and that trade was more than worth it. Subscribe if this resonated with you. Leave a comment with your story. You're not alone. Hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you for staying until the end. You deserve respect.